you are going to Colombia, and I'd like to welcome you before you get there, and be very jealous of you going because it is a country that has the largest number of endemic species, about 14% of all of the species there. And it depends on actually the data, but as of 21, there's over 60,000 confirmed animal and plant species in Colombia. And of the 1,900 bird species, the highest number of mammal species in proportion to the number of species that are there. Um, Over 10% of the species in the world live in Colombia. Part of this biodiversity is because of the many different types of ecosystems that are there. And what is really amazing is the amount of conservation that is going on. I don't know if you know about the Global Big Day for birding. We just had it on May 10th. And, the US and the UK are up there with thousands of birders. But of other countries around the world, Colombia is the top country. And actually, they have an annual competition with Peru. These are birders within Colombia. So Colombia has spent a lot of effort and time on conservation and developing local and young birders. And so that's very exciting to see as it relates to the ecotourism um, effort that's going on and what that means for conservation of the biodiversity that is there. Um, oh yeah, and also an incredible number of reptile species, over 400 reptile species. Highest number of butterfly species. It's just an incredible place to be. And you get to experience several different ecosystems on this trip. Just myself, you know me, I am, am I pausing? Are you having trouble with my video? Are you able to see it? Because I am frozen.
I can see the pictures of the team.
Okay, okay, great. Um, So I am your wildlife safari coordinator and co-owner and co-CEO of Cheesemans. Have Scott Davis and I have been in that role, co-owner, co-CEOs together for 2 years, and we're just loving this journey and loving getting to know all of the many valued clients. Um, and those here have often have been on other trips with us, and we really appreciate that you return, and we really want to carry forward with Doug and Gail's efforts to spread the love of wildlife and conservation in wild areas and how that contributes to conservation around the world.
Cool. Well, thank you, Krista. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good.
Good, good. Well, my name is Christopher Calonge. I grew up in Colombia. My dad is Colombian and my mom is from the US. She grew up in Fresno, California. Um, Went to an American school here in Cali, where you guys will all be landing. And when I graduated high school, the political situation in Colombia was not ideal. So I went to college in at Humboldt State University in Northern California, um, and then worked as an environmental consultant in Oregon for many years. Uh, on one of my trips back to Colombia, um, I learned about bird watching tourism, which I really had never heard about, and decided to start promoting Colombia as a birding destination. This was in 2008. Did my first bird watching tour in 2009. In 2010 or 11, I contacted Gail Cheeseman and I did a talk for Santa Clara Audubon Society.
Yeah.
And we started working with Cheesemans, trying to bring people to Colombia for bird watching. Since then, in 2018, we inherited a property from my grandfather, which was our vacation property. Cali is a little bit hot, and my grandfather had bought this property um, for my grandmother who came from Chile, from a colder part of Chile. Um, and they built a house, and this was the vacation home we grew up going to. My grandfather's passion was he was a medical doctor, an orthopedic surgeon, but his passion was horticulture. So on the property, he grew flowers to uh, to stock a flower shop that my grandmother ran out of the garage in their home in Cali. So my father, all the other brothers and sisters became doctors. My father became a gardener, and he went to school in Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo in California, and has been designing gardens and has a nursery in Colombia since he moved back to Colombia after college. So he designed, as a family, we decided to open up the lodge because we saw a need for having um, comfortable lodging for bird watchers in this area that's one of the most biodiverse areas in the world. Um, so we decided to build the lodge. My sister helps manage it. I do a little bit of that. And just to give you an idea, this Colombia has, and Krista may have mentioned this, but Colombia has more than 20% of this world species of birds and occupies 0.08% of the territory, uh, terrestrial territory. And the Cauca Valley, which is the state we are in, has 1,000 species. So that's 10% of the world's species, and it occupies 0.002% of the world's landmass. So incredible diversity. Um, and I'll leave it open to questions. I don't know if you guys.
We've got a little quick slideshow, and then we can do the questions. It's a small,
Okay.
if anyone has questions throughout, that's fine to ask. Since I don't have the slideshow on, I took it off to let you in, Chris. Maybe
Okay.
each of you could introduce yourselves briefly and maybe where you're from, and yeah,
Cool.
just that. So I can start with you, Janny.
Janny Gordon. I'm from Portland, Oregon,
Great.
and I'm really excited to go to Colombia.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Marianne?
Oh, hi, I'm
Oh, Marianne, your sound just cut out.
Yeah.
Oh.
There.
now.
Yeah,
It's back.
that's good. It's back.
Well, I'm from Minnesota, and I was at the lodge last year
Yes.
with Jose. So
That's great.
that was a great trip, and of course I did. And of course, I didn't see all 11,000 bird species, so I'm coming back.
Yeah. All right. And Susan?
So I'm Susan Tabor Bosch, and this is my husband Rudy, and we live in Idaho, South Central Idaho.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. And I think it is going to be an amazing trip. And Marianne will get you even more birds on this one, I'm sure, to add to your list.
Well, we're going to a new place, so.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't, Marianne, you only did the Araucana portion, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So we're definitely going to see more. Okay. Come on, you.
Okay, cool.
Well, as I mentioned, Cheesemans travelers are really, I think, the best travelers. Everyone really has that focus of being in wilderness, getting out to see wildlife, respecting the wildlife, and wanting to be part of something bigger and better in the areas you're going to, with how it contributes to the local ecotourism and the saving of those areas. And so we're very grateful to have you travel with us and continue expanding on that vision for the world. So just what we tend to cover in our quick Zooms are just to get you ready if there's questions as it relates to anything to do with the traveling immigration. There is an update there. How with the modern communication methods, as we mentioned, technology can be our friend. Just the transfers on arrival and departure, a little bit on weather. We'll go into Attire a bit, and I know everyone is probably experienced with hiking in the rainforest, and so maybe everyone can contribute there, but just some ideas. And then the last, just the quick pre-travel checklist, and then any questions and answers. Like I said, though, it's a small group, so if you do want to ask a question as we're going, that's totally fine. Travel is always challenging. We have noticed in the last year and a half still interesting changes in flights with the various airlines. I know you're probably all familiar with that. Just give us a heads up if you see any of that or that happens to you while you're traveling, especially through our WhatsApp group. That's the communication later. Patience is a virtue as it relates to that, and can work wonders as you're trying to work it out when you're there at the airport, but we can also try to do something remotely to help you if there is any delays. Chris, you may want to chime in here, but there was and still is an immigration registration online form. It's been having challenges for people where it's not having everything go through properly. You were supposed to do it 1 to 72 hours before your flight. However, what Chris has recommended is just go to customs on entry and your passport, flight information, the lodging information, and then we've given you the lodging information to provide.
Yeah, it used to be mandatory. Now it's recommended. I don't think it's going to save you any time in immigration when you arrive. But I guess if you want to try it out, I know some people don't have issues with it, but it's a little bit confusing. And if you want to try to do it, go ahead. But if you have issues with it, just drop it. Don't worry about it because it's not mandatory anymore. But there was some issues with the language and uh, yeah, especially for those that are not as technologically inclined, uh, they've had some issues. So that's my 2 cents on that one.
Great. Any questions for Chris before we go on there?
No.
Great. I did start a WhatsApp group. I think everyone has generally joined it. Also, if you still need to join it in your final details email, there would be the link there. If you'd rather, I can send you the QR code as well. Just let me know. We're finding this really handy beforehand, just to give folks a heads up that you're arriving, etc.
Yeah, I'm very good at getting back to WhatsApp messages. So any questions you have, anything that may come up, let me know. If your flight's late, anything like that. Krista and I communicate constantly on WhatsApp, and I'm usually sitting at my computer or have my phone with me. So any time of day, don't worry. Shoot me a message, and I'll make sure I respond.
Great. So people are coming in at different times, and we sort of have slightly different plans, but those who are coming in that day early will all be at the Hotel Intercontinental unless they've made their own arrangements. There is a transfer. There was going to be the transfer from the airport to Buja for those going in that extra day early. So that's an extra transfer, which we've everyone who has that extra transfer will already have seen that on their invoice. But then to go from Cali to Buja, that is included, and then transferring back from the lodge at the end of the trip back to the airport that transfer is also included and would be regardless of day or time. A few folks are leaving just a little later and have either an overnight, extra overnight at the lodge or a day room. And there is also the day trip. Some folks have opted to do the day trip in Cali, where as you heard, there's amazing birding even there in a city. And I'm quite excited just to see the number of birds that are seen just on the day trip. And I know Chris, probably several dozen could be seen, maybe. Can't hear you, Chris, if you're talking. Anyways, a few dozen, I'm sure, could be seen in Cali on that. And then there also will be the market tour to see some of the historic aspects of Cali. So you are going to be in a more tropical area. Yes, you'll be up in the highlands as well. And so just be prepared with your packing and your materials to have layers. The hot and humid, so quick dry, we'll go over that in the attire. And although it's not the rainy season, you're in a bit of a window, rain is always possible. So probably be good to have a rain jacket. And like I said, with the quick dry. You're probably all familiar with that, Marianne, from last year. I don't know if there's any tips from that, but that would probably be what you experienced last year as well.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Chris, are you still here? I'm worried we lost Chris. We lost Chris. I'm not seeing him as a participant right now, but that's okay. I'll keep an eye on it to get him in. So let me go back. I'm trying to go back. There we go. Our attire. So for birding, you always want to avoid the bright colors if possible, especially a really bright white. You can have an off-white. It's very casual, obviously. Again, that layers can be helpful, especially when you'll be in the highlands. I find it's always great to have some sort of a backpack, but it ranges. For some people like to have a little hip pack and that's all they want to be carrying. Other people, depending on what they're bringing, may have a small day pack. Obviously, great binos for those of you with your cameras. That may be part of what you'd be carrying and getting better visuals with. It's always great to have a little lens cleaning kit for your binos or your camera, as if you're a camera person, you know this already. I'd recommend just as well, even though it's humid, and when you're walking and breathing, chapstick's always great. Lip balm or sunscreen. Definitely want to have a water bottle if possible with you. There'll be great water provided at the lodges, but that's great for refills, and that just reduces on plastic waste as well. Chris does recommend waterproof shoes. You don't need to have heavy hiking boots, but something that's waterproof. You'll be mostly walking along roads, but there could be puddles, especially if there's been rain overnight, which is when it's more likely to be. And you will be needing to plan for those early morning starts to be out, with the dawn chorus to get the really active time of the day with the birds, and then just planning for longer days.
Chris, what about rubber boots? Do we need to bring like Wellington type rubber boots?
You didn't recommend that. It's not like, because you're more on roads, not for mud type areas, but more on roads with puddles. I just got back from a scouting trip where it was pretty wet in Guyana, and we were recommended to have like 2 pairs of boots, and none of us went through our second pair. It was because usually the rain, again, it tends to be more at night. And I'm in reading up on this as well. That's what I was expecting more for Colombia. Let me see if Chris has come back. See what he said on WhatsApp. Having internet issues. Yeah.
He said he didn't.
He'll try. I'll keep an eye out for letting him in.
Okay.
So there is good information in the final details and reminders. I'm happy to answer any questions and Chris obviously on the WhatsApp could answer questions very readily. I don't think most people are going through other countries, but if you are, just check on any other entry requirements. We do talk about, and in our information about malaria prophylaxis, it's always good to talk to your own travel doctor or a doctor about that. It's up to you. The malaria cases tend to be in other areas, but we are not medical advisors. And so that really is up to you. The more probably is just to be on the watch as you're traveling for people that are sniffling and snorting and sneezing. Have some good hand sanitizer with you to hand sanitize as you're going. You can consider traveling with masks. Again, on this trip I was just on, somebody did pick up laryngitis, and then another person on the way home picked up COVID, but nobody, yeah, I mean, it's just, it can be out there. They also had a pretty extensive and arduous 3 weeks or almost 4 weeks of travel. So they were pretty tired by the time they were heading home. And then always just have enough of your medications. That's always classic, to make sure you've got just a little extra just in case, and pack it in your carry-on. The airlines are getting so much better about keeping track of our bags and letting us know where our bags are, but you definitely don't want to have, a delay of that for a few days for your medications. Again,
So another question about medication.
Yeah.
We read somewhere that we should have a letter from our doctor explaining the prescriptions and what they're for. Is that something we should have with us to enter Colombia?
it depends on the prescriptions you have. For
Oh.
certain things are more sensitive for traveling with, but so it would be more related to that, depending if you're with some of the more sensitive medications. Most people aren't on those sensitive medications. But
Okay.
that would be something you could readily get and have for travel now in the future as well.
The letter, you mean, just have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, we haven't run into any problems that anyone's let me know of on with travelers over the last year where they've had any medication taken away.
Okay.
They're there's just a few very sensitive medications, and most people know when they're on those very sensitive medications for travel. Let me check. Chris is here. He's back. Hi, Chris. Can you hear us?
Yes. Sorry.
Yes. That's okay. It is the way it can be these days. We totally understand.
Okay.
I can see you now.
Did I not have my camera on earlier?
No, you didn't.
Oh, sorry.
But I did talk about the weather, and I said there could be some rain. It's not the rainy season, but they could. And so there was the question as it related to attire, because I said layers, because there could be some areas where it's cool in the morning and then later. And I have your recommendation of just waterproof shoes, just because the puddles on the road. The question was about like rubber boots, and I don't think those are needed. It's not that much mud or lots of rain.
No.
It's just rain puddles on the road.
Yeah. Just, waterproof hiking boots, if they're a little bit above your ankle, that's better. Sometimes you will go off trail or off the road a little bit into, tall grass, things like that. We will be birding at 4,000 meters, which is about 13,000 feet. So be prepared for that. The nights at Hotel Termales del Ruiz can be a little chilly. So do bring some, warmer sleeping clothes and layers. So, usually like a medium weight jacket will suffice at the higher elevations, but it's always nice to have a long sleeve under that so you can kind of shed if it gets hot during the day.
And I did say, because you never know when there could be rain, just to have a light rain jacket.
Yes, correct. And it is the dry season, but things in Colombia in the last 5 or 6 years our seasons are not as marked as they usually are. We do have a trip. I don't know if Marianne went on it down to the Pacific lowlands. So that's going to be very hot and humid, and it's one of the rainiest places on earth. So it's always good to be prepared for rain, regardless of the seasonality. So I would recommend bringing some rain pants as well to take on the visit to the Pacific lowlands, because we do ride a motorcycle powered cart on a railroad. And if it rains, you're going to get wet.
Yes, very wet if you're out, if you're riding the train.
But it's a great experience and very unique.
Oh, yeah. Super fun.
It was like Indiana Jones going through the jungle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess, Chris, if you want to go ahead, and then
Yes,
I wanted to mention a couple of things at the end.
Okay, and then I had just finished going over the pre-travel checklist. There was a question about medication, and in particular, we do have in our final reminders, like depending on the medication, if it's a sensitive medication for travel, you can get a letter from your doctor. But I said most people know when they're on those sensitive medications, and where those letters are required. Again, most people aren't, and most people go through no problem at all through customs with their medications. However, it is important to have it in your carry-on, as I said.
Yes. And one parenthesis, there's been an increase in yellow fever cases in Colombia. And the government, I think last week, issued kind of not a mandatory issue, but a recommendation that folks get the yellow fever vaccination. So I think most people that travel a lot usually already have it, but you may want to see about getting the yellow fever vaccination.
No, that's good to know on that one. I hadn't seen that announcement yet. I saw Ecuador also had an announcement for where you're traveling from certain countries in particular, or you have stayed there for more than 10 days.
Yeah. So, and between now and July, things may change. So it may be a good idea to have it, because the government may require, I mean, I don't think so, but they may just start saying, okay, you need to have it to get into the country.
And then, as I said, for malaria prevention, to talk to your doctor. There's not as much malaria, and most people, it's up to them to make their own decision there, but it's generally why we have it in the letter, but it is up to them to talk to the doctor.
Yeah. And, some of those malaria vaccines or pills do have side effects. So do take that into account for some people.
For some people, yeah.
Okay,
all right. So, Chris, let's go on with more information that you want to provide.
Okay. I will be around for the first portion of the tour at Araucana. So look forward to meeting everybody personally and telling you a little bit more about what we do as in Colombia Birdwatch and Araucana Lodge to promote conservation, to work with local communities, to be more sustainable. And one of the neat parts about the trip is you're going to get to meet a lot of the local guides and local people that have opened up their homes and built businesses out of bird tourism. So I look forward to you guys experiencing not only the birds, but learning about how bird tourism has helped Colombia in terms of conservation, which in turn has helped a lot of people throughout the country. I was going to mention, oh, and I will send via WhatsApp your airport pickup contact, and they will have your contact as well. So I will do that a few days before the trip starts, just so you know who's picking you up.
That's great. And for those who aren't on and watching the recording, they will get that as well.
Cool. And Jose Luna will be your guide. I think he guided Marianne last time. Great guy, very experienced, one of the best in Colombia. So yeah, just wanted to mention that he's yes, very knowledgeable.
Was fantastic.
That's great, Marianne.
Excellent.
Thumbs up, and we
Yeah.
All right, so that is it. Does anyone else have any questions?
How many of us are going on the Cali tour?
I'm sorry, 4 people are going on the Cali tour.
Okay.
Cool. And I think Jose will do that with you guys. And it's going to be pretty cool. Some urban birding. Cali is a beautiful city, very welcoming. Again, for that day, we're at lower elevations, so I would suggest wearing, lighter clothes, comfortable walking shoes, and yeah, it'll be a little bit, right now it's cloudy, so it's not that hot. If it's sunny, it can get pretty hot, and you will be walking around, so be prepared for that.
Janny has, I think it was her dog. I know she had a question as well, so we'll just wait for her to get back. But
okay. Here's my puppy.
Oh.
Her name is Aisha. Hola.
Chris, could you
So-
tell us, besides birds, what other wildlife might we see on this trip?
Possibility for howler monkeys at Otunquimbaya. Maybe insects and snakes, but in terms of mammals, some groups have seen tapir at Otunquimbaya, but it's a little bit hard to run into mammals and things when you're out and about. You just kind of have to get lucky. So I hate to promise anything, but if you get lucky, howler monkeys are a chance, and tapir at Otunquimbaya. Maybe crab-eating fox, but you gotta kind of get lucky to see some of these mammals. But lots of cool insects, cool horses in the botany. So if you're into plants, lots of cool plants. The Paramo ecosystem where you're going to visit above 4,000 meters. The scenery is amazing. It's one of my favorite ecosystems in Colombia. Awesome scenery, botany, really interesting plants that are adapted to living at those elevations, as well as the birds.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody putting up with some of our technological challenges today, and we made it work. Adam will have some fun trying to edit this for the recording, but we'll hopefully try to get that recording up within a day or two for the others to watch. So thank you, everybody, and we are very much looking forward to having you join our Colombia trip, and I can't wait to see pictures and hear about the various bird and some of the mammal species that we'll be seeing.
Great.
Thank you.
I have
Cool.
an off-topic question for you, Krista.
Okay.
Was Erickson on your Guyana trip?
She was. I got to meet
She's,
her.
she's from Duluth, and I keep up with her blog. I've met her a
Yes.
couple times.
It was wonderful traveling with her. And yeah, I signed up for her blog, and I have, if anyone wants, I have got a couple free signups that I can share with people. She's got the longest running bird related blog, except for one in Japan, but the one longest running by the one person. And she started in the 1980s with her webpage. And so she's a very cool woman. And Janny, you'd love her. She does lots of photos and
Great.
them all up on Flickr, and they're, for anyone to use. And I love the fact, because I was with some pretty good birders on that trip, and they'd spot the tiniest flicker,
Mm-hmm.
tiniest flicker, and I was like, and because she needed to get the photo and wanted to get the photo, it slowed us down just a little bit to
Yes.
allow me to see as well. So I was so grateful to be part of that range there, and to have the photographer there. So
Jenny, are you into photography?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh, good.
We'll have-
Another photographer.
and
We'll
you
have, the focus will be birding, but I think Marianne can attest that we'll have very good photo opportunities at the feeder sites. And, it being a smaller group, I think that'll be very advantageous for those of you that like to take pictures. And Jose is good about that, giving the photographers enough time to get some photos, but he does focus on getting more species of birds for those folks that don't have cameras. So
Okay.
I think it being a small group, I think it'll work out well. And yeah, awesome photo opportunities at the feeders.
Great. That's great. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay.